Hello and welcome to another Bearded Geek toy review. In today's episode, we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of Star Wars Return of the Jedi with this particular box right here. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, and as I said in the introduction, today we're looking at the 40th anniversary of the final chapter of the original trilogy of Star Wars movies, Return of the Jedi, which was released 40 years ago in 1983. Blimey, do I feel old. So we're mainly going to look at this latest wave of retro collection figures from Hasbro, and also reminiscing about some of my memories from when Return of the Jedi was released. So, Star Wars Retro, I don't know what Lost River things means. They have all code names, apparently. And there's a guy on Instagram called Yakface who seems to leak all these code names whenever there's a new line of Black Series action figures or vintage collection action figures or Star Wars retro action figures, and they all have like various code names, and then he encourages like other fans to speculate. And personally, I just rather wait for the actual official announcements because usually the code names are never anywhere close to what the actual correct item is. You know, they're just product code names. So let's get this box open. Now, this was delivered from a website called Comics and Cocktails. I've used them before. Now, hold on a minute. You're saying I thought you weren't going to buy any more full price Hasbro products. And that is true. I haven't. The reason why I bought it from Comics and Cocktails was because they were the cheapest online. I think the full wave of the 6 figures goes for about £90 because Hasbro put the price up for the individual retro collection figures from $10.99, which they were for the last Mandalorian wave. I'll leave a link to, obviously, my vintage retro collection reviews. For the last wave that's just gone, which was the Obi-Wan Kenobi wave, they put it up from $10.99 to $14.99. And same with these figures as well. So I wasn't paying for that. So Comics and Cocktails was selling the set for roughly around about 75 quid. So quite a reduction, which was cool. So here are the figures. Let's have a look, see what we're gonna pull out first. Okay, let's go with this one here. Okay, so this is Han Solo in Endor gear, and oh wow. Well, as usual, the cardboard they've used is absolutely flimsy as hell. There's a bit of tackiness to that. I don't know what that is. Okay, again, the absolute horrible retro collection sticker. But the original card image from when these were first released way back in 1983 by Kenner Palatoy in the UK. But by that time, Palatoy had stopped putting their own logo on there, and they just resorted to using the Kenner logo. Has the 40th anniversary logo of Return of the Jedi at the top. And again, this horrible, stupid, fake weathering, which is just absolutely bloody pointless. You know, no one's going to mistake these for the actual originals because of all that on the back, all that safety bump. Hasbro have just done a recent retro collection of the Indiana Jones figures, and their card backs are a damn sight better. And again, I don't know why they're doing it to the Star Wars line. They've got all the safety bump down here, but up there, they've got lovely, nice pictures of the rest of the wave instead of like just telling you what the other characters are in the wave. And it's like, you know, you're making your packaging look attractive, whereas that just looks, it's lazy. It's lazy. So that's Han Solo Endor, and we will compare these with the original figures once I get these out. Let's have a next look here. I'll just move that box out of the way. The Emperor. There you go. Again, lovely image of the original card back on there, and you can see the new retro collection figure. Now, these aren't from the original mold because obviously Kenner and Palitoy and all the other companies who were responsible for making these under license from Kenner across the world, the molds were destroyed years ago. So what they have actually done, they've digitally scanned the original figures and then they've created the new molds. So there will be sometimes, and we'll compare this, some softness in the detail and perhaps like not 100% accurate. But there's the Emperor, looking just like he did. Like there. Put that over there. Got next. We've got Lando in Skiff Guard disguise. Wonderful card image, and obviously it comes with the helmet. Now, I don't remember the helmet being a separate piece. I think it was included in the box, the bubble originally. I'd have to double check that though, but that's perhaps my memory just cheating there. But that's a very good reproduction of that figure. Again, we'll do a full comparison. That's Lando in Skiff Guard disguise. Okay. Oh, next we've got Princess Leia Organa in the Bouche disguise. And again, I don't recall the helmet, which was a separate rubber piece, being part of the separate bubble. But perhaps it must have been. It must have been. And there's a nice image, completely spoiled by that horrible sticker. I will be removing these stickers later on using the old lighter fluid technique, where you just like gently brush the sticker with lighter fluid. I do have a video that shows you how to remove these stickers because the tackiness on these stickers is just absolutely ridiculous. And if you were to just try and peel them off, you're going to end up ripping the card back. So you do have to use some something like, you know, that helps like get rid of the adhesive and lighter fluid. I have discovered from obviously other fans that it's the best way of removing these stickers. So I'll leave a link to that video as well down there. Let's just shift these up a little so I can get them all in. So Princess Leia Organa Bouche, we've got two left. Yep, let's go with the Biker Scout. Now, this guy was one of my favourite figures as a kid. I absolutely loved the look of the Biker Scout when these figures were released. And I'll tell you a story. This was actually one of the first two Return of the Jedi figures that I bought. I have a very distinctive memory of around about April, about a month before the film was due to be released everywhere. One of my school friends knocked on my door and said excitedly, the local newsagent has got some new Star Wars figures in there from Return of the Jedi. And then pestering my mum for a bit of pocket money, we ran down the road to the newsagent, because obviously that's how big Star Wars was. Literally, these figures were sold everywhere. And indeed, the newsagent had got a brand new wave of Return of the Jedi figures in. And this was the first time we'd seen them, and he had the Biker Scout, so I had to pick up the Biker Scout because he was just absolutely amazing. I love that image on the card back. And then last but not least, the actual legend himself, Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight, and this was the second figure that I bought from the newsagent that day, because it was like, oh my god, it's a new Luke Skywalker figure, look, he's a Jedi now. And in some of the original ones that were first released in the wave, he actually came with a blue lightsaber, because if you remember rightly, in the teaser trailer that was released, he has a blue lightsaber, but it was found to be merging into the blue sky in the Tatooine scenes when he's on Jabba's skiff barge. So they then decided to make the last minute colour change from blue to green, and obviously this was too late to let the manufacturers of the toys know. So the first couple of releases of Luke Skywalker actually had a blue lightsaber instead of a green one, which is better than the Empire Strikes Back figure, which came with a yellow lightsaber for some reason, even though, you know, Luke never had a yellow lightsaber. So there you go, Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. That's the whole Retro Collection wave. So let's have a comparison of what they're like to their original figures. Now I still have my original Star Wars figures, and they are here. This is my Rebels box. This is my Imperial box. These rolled ice cream cartons, and there is another box as well that has like the monsters and creatures and Ewoks and all the kind of like random creatures, like this Gamorrean guard here, which I actually picked up on eBay a while back. So I've now got 3 Gamorrean guards, but he doesn't fit into the box. So he sits on my desk somewhere at the moment. So let's just have a quick look at the old things. And we have Lando. So that's my original Lando. He's actually wearing his helmet. So I'll just stick him over there. Hopefully these all stand up. Oh, just about. Oh, there we go. Oh, we got Princess Leia as Boushh, and as you can see, the wearing obviously on the paint. Obviously, you know, these figures were played with for hours and hours on end. I bloody loved my Star Wars figures. Yep. And bizarrely, I find myself having not one. There's Luke. Not 2, but 3 Luke Skywalker Jedi Knights. And the other one is here, and the other one doesn't have a cloak. Now this one was actually bought by my son a while back at a toy fair. He picked him up for about 50p, the stall guy was selling him for. And he had a couple of other Star Wars figures. And at the time, my lad was just getting into Star Wars. And I said, yeah, pick them up. And obviously, when he no longer wanted them, I obviously inherited this guy. Now, the thing to notice with these guys is, we'll go up, is look, they all have a little blemish on their nose. Yes, they all have paint that has come away from their nose, and that's because the head was actually cast in this colour here, and then they painted the face which led to it is very, very difficult to get a vintage Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker figure from Return of the Jedi without a chipped nose where the paint has come off. Highly, highly rare. If you find one in the wild, snap it up, because they're actually worth more because, you know, of that reason. And if, well, just, oh, will he stand up? Oh, yeah, there you go. Now, apparently what Hasbro have done for this wave is they've actually cast the head in the flesh colour, and then instead they've painted the hair. So that's a little bit of an improvement on that one. Who else do we need to get? Han Solo. Oh, here he is. There's Han Solo. Oh, he's even holding his gun. Wow. Okay, we'll put that back in his hand. And there's Han Solo in his trench coat. Very, very similar. So that's the 4 characters from the Heroes side. Let's just grab this here. Now we have 1 Biker Scout, 2 Biker Scouts. I think this is my original one that I got first because he's a bit more worn than this guy. And did I have a 3rd Biker Scout? I'm not sure. Just stand that guy up there and that guy. Now, if you remember these, all my Stormtroopers, I originally did a video where I coloured these guys by using a technique where you put them in some chloride and into sun, and as you can see, it doesn't last all the time, so these guys may have to be redone. But just look at the comparison there. You can see obviously the plastic of the arms is made out of a different plastic than the actual body and the arms and legs there. So these guys are yellowing again. So it may be that I have to try that out one more time. Obviously the Snowtrooper there. I've got a couple of Snowtroopers. I'm not sure where my Emperor is. Oh, there he is. There he is. Ah, so there's my Emperor. So okay, we'll just move these guys out of the way. Yeah, I didn't have a 3rd Biker Scout. Okay, so let's just do a quick comparison of the figures. Obviously, these guys I'm keeping on the card for display purposes. I have the Retro Collection hung up above my door frame. So if you can see there, obviously there's a slight difference in the face sculpt. There's a little bit less of the distinguishing features in the remolded Retro Collection version. But it's still an accurate kind of like representation of the original figure. Comes with obviously its blaster. So there you go. That's a good representation there of Han. Let's just get this guy. Here's the Emperor. And yeah. That's a fair enough representation there of the figure. Again, a little bit less detail in the features, a little bit softer detail on the actual cloak itself, where it's lost some of that kind of sharpness, especially on the chest bit there, and this wraparound around the waist. But still, a very good representation of the figure. These guys are 40 years old, so the fact that they're in such good condition, I think obviously just shows that not only did I play with them, quite a lot, I also looked after the guys. Now there you go. Now you can see that obviously what I've noticed here, this is actually a better paint job. The silver is a lot more prominent, and I don't think the silver has faded there at all or dirtied. I think that's how it was originally on that figure. So as you can see, what Hasbro have done for this re-release, they've actually used a brighter, more standout silver there. Let's just pop his helmet off. And you can see with the features there, again, yeah, you know, that's bang on. Actually, this one's got a better paint job around the eyes. But this one's got a more prominent moustache, which I'm sure Lando would be proud of. So that's Lando there. Just popping the helmet back on. And then we've got Leia here. Again, very much the same, but a darker brown used this time in the midsections of the figure. And obviously, oh, you can see there where the helmet's worn off the hair. And again, the features are a little bit softer because of the 3D scanning technique that they've used. So that's Princess Leia comparison. Now we've already done a comparison really with Luke Skywalker, because we've got three of the buggers here. So we'll go straight to the bike escape. We'll take this guy here, and yeah, I mean, that's a very accurate representation. It actually looks as if, I don't know if you can pick that up, there's a bit more of a sharpness of detail, or whether it's because, I don't know, his helmet looks as if it's a little bit smaller but re-sculpted better. But there's still some detail in there, a lot of detail. I would say out of all the retro collection like reproductions that Hasbro have done for this wave, this one's probably the most closest to the original figure there. Now you can't see, for instance, as much the indentations in his kind of chest unit, but if I bring up my other Scout Trooper, and he's going to fall down. Oh dear, and he's just knocked the Luke card down. You can see there, they're a bit more prominent. So that one is a lot more. I think that's probably out of the 6 figures, that's the closest, most accurate to the original release there. Stand Luke back up, put the Biker Scout back down. So there you have it, the Star Wars Return of the Jedi Retro Collection wave. Now, like I said, I didn't really get the last Retro Collection, Obi-Wan Kenobi, because of the prices. I have picked up the Darth Vader from that set since, because I saw him cheap in game and he was $7.99 instead of 15 quid. I've not seen any of the other wave cheap, so I've not got those ones yet. But obviously where to put these, because I have the Star Wars and the Empire Strikes Back Retro Collection figures hanging above my door frame, and then underneath them I've got the Mandalorian figures. So I think I'm going to have to be a bit of a original trilogy person here and remove the Mandalorian figures and replace them with this bunch of Return of the Jedi figures. So I've got a full representation of the original trilogy figure sets there. I've just had a bit of digging around in the old box here, and I've actually found the original blue lightsaber that one of the Luke figures came with. So as you can see, look, there's the blue lightsaber, which was then switched out for the movie accurate green one. Obviously once those ones with the blue lightsaber had been sold. So there he is. that looks really cool. But the green one, I don't think I have a green one, but I do have a reproduction there from Stan Solo, and I will be doing a Stan Solo video very, very soon, showing you some recent acquisitions from Stan Solo, and also my other figures, Stan Solo, and giving you a bit of a comparison of the figures to the original Kenner Palatoy ones. So there you go. Interspersed in this video, I've shown you some clips of the Return of the Jedi live in concert, which me and my partner were lucky enough to go to last year at the Royal Albert Hall. It really was a fantastic experience, and it was much delayed because it had been delayed by over 2 years because of the whole COVID pandemic thing. But it was absolutely fantastic to see Return of the Jedi back on the big screen and performed by a live orchestra. And on that note, Return of the Jedi is also getting a limited cinema release in various US, UK and European cinemas for a 1 week only, and that starts from April the 28th. So if you want to go and see the concluding part of the original trilogy back on the big screen as a treat, as a celebration of 40 years of this brilliant film, then check out your local cinemas, because hopefully they will be showing the film over the course of that week from April the 28th. I still remember going to see this way back when it came out in May 1983, and actually I think I was the first person in my school to go and see it, because when we realised when it was going to actually hit the cinemas in our local town, because back in those days cinemas didn't get the films all at the same time. You had to wait for them to be distributed regionally after they'd been exclusively released in London. So I remember realising that we were actually going to be on holiday, me and my parents. So I badgered my dad and said, can we go and see Return of the Jedi early, because it's opening in Manchester before it comes to my hometown. So he duly took me, made the trip to the Manchester town centre, and I saw it at the Odeon there. And I remember the very next day, all my school friends asking me about, is Darth Vader really Luke's father? Oh, is this to happen? What happens? Is it true that Darth Vader dies? All being asked all the kind of spoilerish questions, and being the envy of my friends at that time. So happy memories of Return of the Jedi. Still can't believe it's 40 years old, but there you go. Absolutely fantastic. Really am impressed with this retro collection wave. I just wish they put thicker card backs instead of these flimsy ones, and get rid of that bloody awful retro collection sticker. But you really can't have everything. Hasbro have listened to the plastic-free packaging. They're reverting to plastic windows now on the Black Series from 2024 because of collectors and fans complaining that you can't see the figure before you buy it, and I completely get that. And they're going to be using recycled plastic, which is obviously what they're using already on the vintage collection and the retro collection. So there you go. So hopefully Hasbro will listen eventually, and the next wave is the Book of Boba Fett. I'm not particularly infused with the Book of Boba Fett as a retro collection, but I am excited to see the remaining 6 figures of the first wave of Star Wars figures from the original 12 will be released later this year as the next retro collection, and they'll be in a box set, and they'll actually have a accurate R2-D2 and C-3PO vac metalized, because for years they've been saying, since they launched this range, it's too expensive to do vac metalization on figures, but they finally succumbed, and they will be doing some accurate figures for the retro collection. So that wave will be made up of R2-D2, C-3PO, Ben, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Death Squad Commander, or the Death Star Commander as he was renamed, a Jawa, and a Tusken Raider. So looking forward to that. And if the price is right, I'll pick that up as well and do a video. But I hope you've enjoyed me rambling on about the Return of the Jedi. I hope you seek out this Retro Collection wave if you want to have these figures again and relive your childhood, or just have a very, very nice collector's piece. So thanks for watching. Please leave a like, please subscribe, please hit the notification bell, all that kind of good stuff. And we will see you very, very soon on Bearded Geek Toy Reviews. Bye now.
If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will.
As a quick aside, this is where I currently have some Retro Collection figures, which is above my door here in my geeky room, so it'll work, doubles as my office. So I will be going to be removing the Mandalorian wave there and putting up the 6 Return of the Jedi figures, and probably just leaving a Mandalorian figure at the end there. And there we have it. I've replaced the Mandalorian wave of figures with the Return of the Jedi wave and done a bit of a rearranging so the characters match up, because previously they weren't matching. So all Luke's down here, all Leia's, all Han's, then you've got Chewie, 2 Landos, and then you've got cool looking baddies, Force users, and then the 2 exclusive figures that were with the games, and I've stuck the Mandalorian on the end there just because he looks cool. So that's the new Retro Collection setup. Of course, I will get rid of the stickers at some point, just need to get some lighter fuel, buy that under adult supervision, and then obviously remove the stickers so I can see the full card backs. There you go, that's the new display. Really pleased with how it looks.